first reaction from Shri Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan on Mahatma Gandhi's death. The British tradition of announcing the death of a king is "the king is dead, long live the king." Nearly 25 years ago, Mahatma Gandhi, writing a moving editorial on the late C.R. Das in his exquisite English, captioned it as, "Deshbandhu is dead, long live Deshbandhu." If we have chosen such a title for our humble tribute to Gandhiji, it is because we are convinced, more than ever before, that very few indeed have lived in this degenerate century who could lay greater claim to immortality than this true servant of humanity and champion of the downtrodden. An agonizing 48 hours at the time of writing this article have passed since Mahatma Gandhi left this mortal coil. The first impact of the shock is slowly spending itself out, and through the murky mist of mourning and grief a faint light of optimistic expectation that Gandhiji has not died in vain is glowing. Maybe it is premature to draw such a conclusion now in terms of net result, but judging by the fact that the tragedy has profoundly stirred the world's conscience, we may be forgiven if we lay store by the innate goodness of man. At least we can tell at the top of our voice to suspicious friends in India that the passing away of Gandhiji is as grievous a blow to Pakistan as it is to India. We have observed distressed looks, moistened eyes, and heard faltering voices in this vast sprawling city of Lahore to a degree to be seen to be believed. We have also seen spontaneous manifestations of grief on the part of our fellow citizens in the shape of observance of a holiday and hartal. Let our friends in India take note, and we declare it with all the emphasis at our command, that we in Pakistan are human enough to respond to any gesture of goodwill, any token of friendliness, and, last but not the least, any call for cooperation from the other side of the border. Earlier we have indulged in a bit of optimism, and that for a very good reason. In India, sedulous and we believe sincere heart-searching has been going on ever since the tragedy took place. The government of India too seems to have at long last realized that they are sitting on a top of a volcano. And above all, a small incident in Bombay in which a Hindu mob broke open the office of the anti-Pakistan front on Saturday and reduced its furnishings to smithereens, we believe, realization, though tragically belated, of the fact that Muslims are, after all, not the sinners, not to say the enemies of India. A large section of Hindus have discovered where their enemies reside and what political labels they flaunt. If the government of India would have tried to take some of the conceit and fire out of these rapidly communal and militant leaders, maybe Gandhiji would have lived to be 125. It was far from us to recount these pre-tragedy happenings, but we feel constrained to do so for the weighty reason that the destiny of 50 million Muslims is involved in India. We demand that the powers that be in India must treat them fairly and squarely. We would be less than human if were to make even the least attempt to exploit Gandhiji's death in furtherance of our co-religionists' interests in India. But we are gratefully conscious of the fact that nothing would give greater pleasure to the soul of the illustrious dead than dispensation of justice and fair play to Indian Muslims, which he so pleasantly preached and for which he laid down his life. To these countless Muslims, Mahatmaji would ever remain a symbol of hope and courage. Though he is dead, he will live through ageless life.